Well, good afternoon, everybody. So I thought I would pop on in here and do our monthly live stream Q&A. I thought I might address a question that I see coming up a lot on my YouTube channel and also in my other Facebook groups, and that is, how do I share attachment styles with my partner? Really, what I want to go over today are 3 questions to ask yourself before you go about the task of attempting to educate your partner. And the first question I would have you ask yourself is, what would it satisfy within you to share this material? For example, a lot of people purchase my online courses or they watch a bunch of my YouTube videos and they tend to have some kind of aha moment. And so now they're sort of in this place where they feel like, oh, there were so many unnecessary arguments, so many past hurts or communications, armed with this knowledge, I feel like I could go back and I could make right what went wrong. If that is the impulse, then you have to recognize that you do have an underlying agenda, and that is to reestablish connection and fix it. If you have an underlying thought process about needing to go back and fix something, or beating yourself up because now you realize all the things you did wrong, or feeling like you have to go to your partner and make amends because of the things you feel like you did wrong, I just want you to recognize that beneath all of that, there's an underlying belief structure or fantasy that the relationship should have gone a certain way, and what you needed and what you wanted and what you didn't get in the relationship. And the thing I would emphasize to you is that all of that doesn't go away just because you see the bigger picture now. Maybe you understand your partner more. Maybe they might learn to understand you more, but are your wants and your needs and the thing that you want to get out of relationship really any different than it was before? Have your beliefs about how to get those things met actually changed? Or are you imagining now that you know better how to strategize, compromising yourself in more informed ways, let's say, so as to maintain that connection because you feel attached to that person? And so if you have a hope or an agenda that this communication is going to lead to something, whether that's reestablishing a connection and fixing what went wrong, or trying to make your partner feel a certain way, you're still trying to experience something through them, and that is still a repetition of the same type of pattern that probably landed you here in the first place. And that leads me to the second question, which is, what compels you to take responsibility for the whole relationship or for your partner's pain, or to think that these things that you experienced were somehow unnecessary? Because sometimes the pain that we experience in these relationships is in fact the whole point of those relationships. That pain might have been entirely necessary. Because what if that pain is what compelled you both to move in directions that would require each of you to assume more responsibility for your own happiness? And that is both in and outside of the context of partnership. And I think that when we do feel these disruptions and these types of catalytic breakups or heartbreak, then that is the body and the soul's way of telling you that there's something out of alignment. Not just with your partner, but there's something out of alignment within you, with the beliefs you're carrying, with the way you're interpreting the world. And so, and the paradox, of course, is once you can get back into alignment with wherever your true self, essential self may be, then that is when you can better get into alignment with your partner. Okay. Especially anxious open hearts, they have a tendency to get swamped by an obligation to improve a lover's bad feelings. Okay, which, because they experience the bad feelings or the discomfort as a threat to the attachment relationship and the connection. But the irony I want to demonstrate for you here is that when you try to improve the feelings of your partner, you're actually dismissing them. And it's a dismissal within yourself. Because if you struggle with your partner having bad feelings, you're definitely going to struggle with yourself having bad feelings, okay? And so anything you do to try to improve or fix something is a dismissal of the feeling that is actually expressing itself in the moment. So if you're an anxious open heart and you're attracting dismissive partners, realize then that they are actually a perfect match for you. This is what I mean when I say it's not a case of opposites attract, it's a case of like sees like. They are, in fact, a perfect match for you. When we're trying to throw information at someone and we're trying to educate them into fixing what went wrong, or we're trying to educate them into catching up to us, or we're trying to educate them into being better versions of themselves, then in essence, you are, in a way, reenacting the dismissal that has been going on in the relationship over and over and over again, likely in cycles, and that has led to such a disconnection. Even if the content that you're trying to share is useful to you, even if the content that you've been trying to share has given you insight. The other thing that I would have, sub questions, then I would have you ask yourself, well, you've taken this course, Healing Attachment Wounds, you've taken one of my 101 courses on attachment. Okay. And maybe you took the course and you experienced some relief because you gained some insight and that gave you some spaciousness around your experiences, and now it all kind of makes sense. And now I feel like I'm armed with this knowledge. Now I can exert more control. So was it helpful because now you have insight into the problem, and that clarity affords you a sense of relief because now you think you can better fix the problem? Or was the content helpful because it allowed you to release an ego attachment to the idea that your happiness must be found with this specific person or in a specific way? And that can only really happen if that specific person is happy too, in which case you're still trying to, that's the attachment idea. So did this content help you because you were able to release that notion? Or did the content help you because now you have clarity and you think clarity is going to give you more control to fix the thing that you think went wrong, which is a repetition of the dismissal and the fix it doing mode mentality. The third question I would have you ask yourself is, do you assume that understanding is going to equal agreement? So of course there are going to be the parts of us that want to share this information from a real genuine place of love and generativity. You love your partner, they love you. These moments that you shared, those moments of connection, they are real. You came together, I believe, for a really good reason. When we have these experiences, it's more than just, faulty wiring in your brain. It's more than just the echoes of past developmental trauma. I think there is an element of the divine in these relationships that we encounter. I do believe that. So when we want to share this material, there's something generative there as well, right? Of course there's something generative there as well. You gained something and you want to share that. You want to share that positive experience with the person that you love. But the thing I want to emphasize here is that sometimes we think that understanding is going to equal agreement. And that is because we may struggle with boundary confusion. And we think that your partner will see and perceive this information in the same way that you did. And that doesn't always happen. Because sometimes you might share this with a partner and they might have an aha moment just like you. It's likely that they would if they're paying attention. And they might say, oh, wow, if only we'd known that. Maybe we could have avoided some of the ways that things went down. But now armed with this knowledge, perhaps we have a fighting chance. And I'm assuming you're sharing this with me because you want to see if that's possible, right? Maybe they say that. Maybe they do. Or on the other hand, they might also say, oh, wow, yeah, it all makes sense now. And I guess I was right all along. It really never will work. And this attachment style stuff, hands down, proves that. Thanks for giving me that clarity. Now I can stop beating myself up, worrying that there was something else I could have done, because this proves to me that, yeah, we really are a mismatch. So both possibilities are on the table. And in my own personal experience, I've definitely seen both of them play out. I've had people say that they were on the brink of divorce, and their partner showed them a video of mine and it led them down a rabbit hole and it ended up saving their marriage. They got the help they needed and it ended up saving their marriage. And I've had other circumstances where someone tried to share this information and the person just felt like that the partner was just trying to hook them back in and avoid taking responsibility for themselves because they were just trying to blame it all on attachment styles. Okay. And the reason I'm having you ask yourself these questions is because I would encourage you to go in first and to be aware of what is your agenda regarding the outcome. And it's not about whether you share the information or you don't share the information. It's about the energy that you've got tied up in the action either way, and that is your agenda. And your partner's going to sense that agenda a mile away. So if the agenda is to establish reconnection, try and fix something, they're going to sense that. So for example, it's the difference between this looks like this and like trying to open a conversation and watch this video, it reminds me of that, versus saying, I saw this on YouTube, had a big aha moment, thought I would share it in case it helps, and in case it helps you. Or even saying that it helps you is too much of an agenda. You can say, do with it what you will, like thought you'd be interested, that kind of thing. You're just letting go of the agenda around it. So there's a couple of steps that you can take to try to release your agenda around that. And I want to talk about that next.